I've always wanted a board game that replicates the infamous bug scene from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And better yet, it's a kid's game that replicates all the creepy crawlies. Hey there folks, Kylie at Games Unlimited, and today I want to go golfing with 18 holes. This is a new golfing board game. There have not been a lot of golfing board games since the days of Stratomatic and 3M games like that. This is a new one, 18 holes. We got it in. We got a few copies in a couple months ago and finally got a restock. Now this is an interesting take on golf. One of the things that they've done, there's a little storyline behind it, but one of the things they've done to gamify the game is change the rules of golf so that you only bring about 5 clubs with you, and you have to use all of your clubs before you can start reusing clubs. So if you bring a 4-wood and a 9-iron with you, you use the 9-iron, you can't use it again until you've used that 4-wood, use the other clubs that you brought with you. You can also skip a turn to refresh all of your clubs. So that's going to be something that's a little bit different. You know, if you're familiar with traditional golf, you're going to think that's a little strange. But what's great about this game is these awesome modular golf courses you get to put together. You can sort of randomize it. There are a bunch of pre-made courses you can put together in there. And there are a lot of different golf gaming modes. But the basic one, the most straightforward one, is interesting because it's just the first to get the ball to the putting green on a given hole. So, you know, you might be playing 4, 5, 6 player game, but as soon as someone sinks the ball on the first hole, you move on, everyone moves over to the next hole, and you just keep going from there. Of course, you don't get to refresh your clubs between holes, so sometimes you have to make these strategic choices of, you know what, I'm not going to win this hole, but let me go ahead and refresh my clubs or use the clubs that I'm not going to use. There's also drafting choices at the beginning of the game of which clubs to even bring. Do you want to bring a pitching wedge? Do you think you're going to end up in situations where that's needed? It's a pretty fast game. As I mentioned, there are a ton of different play modes. Of course, there's solitaire mode in this. I really had a lot of fun with 18 holes. All right, next up, I want to talk about a shoot 'em up. Basically a sort of bullet shoot 'em up board game called Bullet. And it's actually Bullet with the Heart. That's an official part of the title. So this is a game that tries to replicate the sort of shoot 'em up video games where you're just trying to dodge bullets, things like that. But you're doing it with a player board. It's really a puzzle game. So each player has a player board with a unique heroine that has some different special abilities, has a different deck of cards that they're going to use. The basics of it, though, are bullets are going to be coming down your player board. You're going to start with 10 random bullets in your bag. You're going to draw one, place it depending on the color on that column of your board, and then you're going to move it down a number of spaces equal to the number on that bullet, skipping any spots that already have bullets on it. So if I draw a 3, I would move it to the 3rd space down, but if there's a spot in one of those, I'll skip it and keep moving. So if there were already 2 bullets in that column, I'm going to skip them both, probably end up putting that 3 on the 5 spot. And if anything reaches the bottom, that is a point of damage. You take enough damage, you're out of the game. So you're drawing from the bag, but you can stop at any time and start using your special abilities. So you have some special abilities that will cost you energy that'll let you move bullets around on your board. If you can make certain patterns, you can get rid of bullets and actually send them to your opponent. So next round, those bullets are going to go in their bag. So each round, everyone's adding a few more bullets depending on the round number to their bag, plus whatever bullets were added from the opponent, getting rid of them on their board. Of course, you can also play it timed. So there's a 3-minute timer. They actually have video game music that they've created for this game to be the 3-minute timer. So that makes it even more frenetic because yes, you're drawing from your bag, deciding which patterns you're going to make, trying to do things as fast as possible. If you don't finish within time, you just have to draw bullets from your bag and place them. You don't get a chance to modify them or try to protect yourself. There's also solitaire modes, there's team modes against each other, team modes against boss player. Each of these heroines actually has a reverse side that's their boss version that you can play against. I've had a ton of fun with this. It's super fast, like a 15-minute game, especially if you play with the timer. But if you like that puzzly element and you want a little bit of the stress from the timer, you can also play without the timer, and I recommend that for your first few games. But Bullet is an absolute blast. All right, last up, I'm going to talk about the most interesting kids game I've seen in a long time, Bug Hunt. So this is a game for 5 and up, and it literally involves reaching in to a dark hole and grabbing these wooden bug meeples. You're trying to grab the bugs of your color. So you get a few seconds to look. You'll turn the whole board around. It's a giant 3-dimensional board. You'll turn the whole board around, look at it, try to see, okay, where are my bugs? And then you're going to put your hand into the hole, reach around, try to find the bug that you need. If you pull out a bug of your color, great, you get to keep it and you go again. You don't get to look again, but so you kind of want to remember where all of your bugs are. If you pull out a bug of another player's color, it goes to them, so you're actually helping them. And then of course there are the white bugs. They are bad. They sting you. So if you pull a white bug, your turn is over, you put it on your board, and if you ever have 3 white bugs on your board, you're out of the game. So I thought this was an incredibly unique theme for our kids' games. I know my kids are terrified of bugs, but they love the idea of reaching their hand in, grabbing these little bugs. Maybe it makes them a little bit less scared of bugs as well. So that is Bug Hunt. All right, please come on down, take a look at some of these games, ask us any questions you might have, see what's on our demo table. I am Kylie at Games Unlimited, and I hope this week you unbox some fun.